just like he was next door. So that's one of the beauties of this online Sangha. So Pariksit Prabhu, a couple little introduction with him. He's actually a person who's been part of our community now for a while in Philadelphia. As I mentioned, him and his family live in Harrisburg, but he's been coming to give class, I would say, for the last maybe 2-3 years. He was a major part of our temple opening when we opened up our temple. But before living in Harrisburg, him and his family, they served in Gita Nagari for quite some time. How many years was it, Pariksit? You guys lived in Gita Nagari?
95 to 2016. So
20 years.
21 years.
They lived at Gita Nagari farm, and then they left to start off some preaching activities into the city. His wife Anasuya, she's the temple president there in Harrisburg, and both of also he's a disciple. He's my godbrother. I'm his godbrother, I should say. He's my senior godbrother, disciple of His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami. So we're thankful you're giving your time tonight, and please go for it. We're looking forward to hearing your realizations on Srimad Bhagavad-gita.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Jaya Gopi Janna Vallabha Giridharadhari.
Jaya Gopi Janna Vallabha Giridharadhari.
Jaya Gopi Janna Vallabha Giridharadhari.
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari.
Yashodanandana Vrajajana Raniyana.
Yashodanandana Vrajajana Raniyana.
Yashodanandana Vrajajana Raniyana.
Yashodanandana Vrajajana Raniyana.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Radha Sharadi Hari, Radha Sharadi Hari, Radhe.
Jaya Radha Sharadi Hari, Radha Sharadi Hari, Radhe.
Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra.
Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra.
Jaya Gauranika, Jaya Gauranika, Gauranika, Jaya Gauranika.
Jai Gauranika, Jai Gauranika, Gauranika, Jai Gauranika.
Jaya Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. Jaya
Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada.
Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Haribo, Nitai Gora Haribo.
Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora Haribo.
Nitai Gora Haribo, Haribo, Haribo. Nitai Gora Haribo.
Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora Haribo.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivajikacharya Astotara Sata Sishimada's Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivajikacharya Astotara Sata Sishimada's Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Kuti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Swami Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari.
Hare Hare Go.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga.
Lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga.
Namaste. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So happy to be here, albeit online, but still better to have something than have nothing at all. So Krishna's mercy, we still can continue with the service of preaching. Krishna says those who preach are dear to him. Everybody's dear to Krishna, but he's also made that distinction in Bhagavad-gita. So this afternoon's text, Bhagavad-gita as it is, chapter 2, which is entitled The Contents of the Gita Summarized, text 48. Yogasta kuru karmani sangam tyakva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchate. Word for word translation. Yogasta, equipoised. Kuru, perform. Karmani, your duties. Sangam, attachment. Tyaktva, giving up. Dhananjaya, O Arjun. Siddhi asidhyo, in success and failure. Sama, equipoised. Bhutva, becoming. Samatvam, equanimity. Yoga, yoga. Uchate is called. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Perform your duty equipoised, O Arjun, abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Such equanimity is called yoga. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Krishna tells Arjuna that he should act in yoga. And what is that yoga? Yoga means to concentrate the mind upon the Supreme by controlling the ever-disturbing senses. And who is Supreme? The Supreme is the Lord. And because he himself is telling Arjuna to fight, Arjuna has nothing to do with the results of the fight. Gain or victory are Krishna's concern. Gain or victory are Krishna's concern. Arjuna is simply advised to act according to the dictation of Krishna. The following of Krishna's dictation is real yoga. And it is practiced, or this is practiced, in the process called Krishna consciousness. By Krishna consciousness only can one give up the sense of proprietorship. One has to become a servant of Krishna or the servant of the servant of Krishna. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 13, text 80. That is the right way to discharge duty in Krishna consciousness, which alone can help one to act in yoga. Arjuna is a Kshatriya, and as such, he is participating in the Varnashram Dharma institution. It is said that in the Vishnu Purana, that in the Varnashram Dharma, the whole aim is to satisfy Vishnu. No one should satisfy himself, as is the rule in the material world, but one should satisfy Krishna. So unless one satisfies Krishna, one cannot correctly observe the principles of Varnashram. Indirectly, Arjuna was advised to act as Krishna told him. Oma Gyanati Virandasya Gyana Gyana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupa Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakam Vitam Cha E Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostite Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Panamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhibhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Sorry. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Srinyabhari Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahabharanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Guratishe Namaha Anandalila Maya Vigrahaya Imavya Divacha Vishnaraya Tasmi Mahaprema Raspadaya Chaitanya Chandaya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandaya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandaya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandaya Namo Namaste. Hare Krishna. So the text again is Yogasta Kuru Karmani Sangam Tyakva Dhananjaya Siddhya Samo Bhutva Samatvam Yoga Uchate. In the translation by Srila Prabhupada, perform your duty equipoised, O Arjuna, abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Such equanimity is called yoga. So, in this chapter, Krishna is bringing up so many points. This one regarding our attitude towards service, performing our duty. We have sometimes duties at home. We have duties in the temple. We have duties sometimes at work. And sometimes We have our own cutout duties, ones that are helping us to grow spiritually. And we're talking about the duties by instruction, the chanting and the regulative principles, which we have blended into our lives. Hopefully, taking this spiritual activity as important. Now, we do in fact live in a material world, we know that. And we have these material bodies, we know that also. But Srila Prabhupada has already told us that the real person is the soul who resides in the heart area, along with Krishna as a super soul. The business of devotees is not only to disseminate Krishna consciousness, but work on work on ourselves in Krishna consciousness to get back to Godhead and help to take as many people with us, helping them to also start their journey back to Godhead as much as we can, or as the circumstances allow us to do. This is our life here, and that's the important thing. Now, it's not a question of even being the most important. It's an important, period. Because everything else we do materially, that's a necessity. Why? Because we have this material body. If we didn't have a material body and we were in the spiritual world, we wouldn't be doing anything material at all. So with this material body, it's become necessary to keep it going. Srila Prabhupada says we should live as long as we can. Now, the important point about that statement is we live as long as we can serving Krishna's devotees, serving Guru, and also serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In his mercy, he has shown himself to us in a deity form, because we do not have spiritual eyes. We have material eyes. So by his mercy, he's allowing us, even in Kali Yuga, to serve a deity. The Yuga Dham for serving the deity is in fact Dwapara Yuga. Kali Yuga is for chanting the holy name of the Lord. But we are close enough to Dwapara Yuga, only 5,000 years in Kali Yuga. And from what I understand, it's not a quick break from one Yuga to the next. So we have the mercy of the Lord in a deity form. So we get to worship the deity and also chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna is telling Arjuna, perform your duty centered, equipoised. Another word for describing equipoise is equanimity. Now, equanimity, I took the liberty of looking it up in the dictionary online. And it's pretty close. But of course, it's always, when it's defined in a spiritual sense, you get a fuller definition of it. But even according to non-devotee type of explanation for it, definition, equanimity is a state of psychological stability and composure, which is undisturbed by experience of or exposure to emotions, pain, and other situations that may cause a person to lose the balance of their mind. In other words, equanimity means mental stability amid all kinds of situations, especially situations that are difficult. We find it easy to deal with situations that are pleasant. But when it comes to situations that are difficult, that's another story. And the soul actually likes blissful situations. This blissful situations. This is the way we are. Our real psyche, the psyche of the soul, the spiritual psyche, is to have bliss, not to mention having all knowledge and also eternality. So we like to have a good time. Well, in the material world, having a good time is another kind of story. Sometimes we're satisfying our senses and we think we're having a good time. So Srila Prabhupada has explained that in material life, when we're satisfying our senses, that's not real happiness. Happiness comes from the soul. Therefore, if we take Krishna's instructions and live by that, especially explain to us into the agency of Guru. Guru is a representative of Krishna, as it's said in the Shastra. The God within, that's a super soul, and the God without is a spiritual master. That's how we're supposed to take it. The instructions of the Lord come from within through the Paramatma, and without through the agency of a spiritual master. Instructions that way. So in this case, Krishna is speaking to us, and he tells us in Bhagavad-gita, perform your duty. Not worrying about success or failure. In other parts, it also says that, especially in the purport also, Krishna says he takes care of the results. He takes care of the results. So in the purport, Krishna, Srila Prabhupada says, Krishna is telling Arjuna that he should act in yoga. When the mind is balanced and focused on spirituality, that is yoga. In this particular age, the highest or the most prominent of the activities that we have to perform in yoga is the chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And speaking about that, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada has made it quite easy on us. To be a Vaishnava, we have to chant 64 rounds. Bhaktivinoda Thakur's time, they were chanting 64 rounds. He had work. He had a large family. He was a magistrate. He did the 64 rounds, breaking it up in the morning and then continuing in the evening, but he got it done. In this age, the challenges that we face, Srila Prabhupada decided to get the mercy of Krishna and extend the mercy to us, reducing it first to half, 32 rounds, and then half of that to 16 rounds as a minimum. So if we're not doing it, in many ways, we're cheating ourselves. It's like there's a sale and it's come down to 75% off, 3/4 off. It used to be 64, now it's 16. Now, when would we want to let a sale like that go away? I don't think we want to do something like that. If we're smart enough, a store, 75% sale, they advertise it, you jump and go get everything that you need inside of that store. In the same way, this is even bigger because this is to liberate us and to liberate a lot of people who hear our voices, chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and a lot of entities that hear our voices. It's not just only bodies, human body type, souls in human bodies that would hear it, but even souls not in human bodies, as long as we speak the mantra so it comes out, not just say it silently, they will also benefit from it. So that duty is on us. Arjuna is a Kshatriya. Krishna says, perform your duty, don't be attached to results. Therefore, we should also help everyone who gets even slightly interested in Krishna consciousness to take to the chanting, to take to the hearing, because it helps us and it helps them also. And in that way, then we will all slowly, the Prabhupada says, the gradual process, there's so much to remove. Maya is always active, trying to get us to do the wrong thing. Initially, it's like that. The mind becomes an enemy because Maya is just trying to give all kinds of reasons not to do devotional service. But actually, that is sabotage. We don't let the mind sabotage us. We should be involved in devotional service no matter what. No matter what. Devotional service is so important. We have to, as they say in America, we have to eat it. We have to sleep it. We have everything about it. It's the most important. It's better than any degree you got or you struggle for. It doesn't matter how high that degree is. You have to take that as the most important because everything in this material world is temporary. It leaves when the body leaves. But devotional service carries on. Even when the physical body is gone, Paramatma for the devotees takes care of our devotional account. And Paramatma is Krishna. So how fortunate we are. Everyone that's a devotee is already fortunate. It's just a question of how well we use what we got. Relating to devotees properly, relating to Guru properly, and relating to the deity. So being equipoised in equanimity, they are the same. When we perform our activities, mentally, we should be calm. We should be composed. Our temper should be balanced, even in a difficult situation. That means we have to try to live without anxiety. Now, I know that's easier said than done, because in this material world, sometimes, even when we're not putting ourselves in that situation, circumstances happen to sometimes challenge us. But we got to remember, Krishna is in control. And that's what he's saying here. Gain or victory, they are Krishna's concern. If we're going to be victorious, that's Krishna that's going to let it happen. If we're not going to be victorious, that's Krishna that's going to let it happen. All we have to do is do the best that we can in every service that we do. That's most important. As long as we understand that, then we are in the right frame of mind. And very, very, very likely, Krishna will give us a chance to go back to Godhead, even in this lifetime after we leave this body. So Arjuna, Srila Prabhupada says, is simply advised to act according to the dictation of Krishna. And the dictation of Krishna is Shastra. He says it himself in Bhagavad-gita. His devotees, his pure devotees say it in Srimad Bhagavatam. He himself comes up as incarnations, Maharaj Shabhadev, Maharaj Prithu, Shaktavesh Avatar, and Krishna himself speaks to Uddhava. All of that's in the Srimad Bhagavatam, describing so many ways in which the spiritual wisdom can be imparted to us. It's just a question of, as Srila Prabhupada says, one should take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. And he gave an analogy, like Krishna is the sunshine. We are devotees, the people who are just like everybody else, but the difference is we've turned our attention to Krishna. So like Krishna is providing the sunshine, he's the energetic, the source of the sun, and bhakti is available for everybody as a sunshine. Some people have turned their faces away from it, and so they're not getting any benefit from it. But devotees have turned towards it. And so by turning towards it, then we get not only the opportunity to serve, but we also get the mercy. Even when we make mistakes, if our intention is good, sometimes we asked about this. So how can I be a pure devotee? Well, tall order. It's possible, but it's tall order. Why? Because in this material world, we are using our material senses, and the material senses are not perfect. So how do you do things in perfection with imperfect senses? It's literally impossible. But the senses don't dictate to the heart. When the heart says, I want to do something to the best of my ability, that's a very solid decision coming from the heart. Therefore, if the senses can't even do it as well, but you do it to the best of your ability with a heart that is intent on doing it to the best of a person's ability, Krishna will accept that. And that is the mercy that we have. So with this imperfect senses, still we can get Krishna's benefit from Krishna and Guru, as long as we serve from our hearts. So we got to be careful to make sure that we serve from the bottom of our heart. Therefore, it also means we relate to devotees well, because devotees are our practice. There are uncountable number of devotees in the spiritual world, in Golok, Vrindavan, and other spiritual planets. What we're doing now is practice towards what's going to happen when we go back home. So actually, even though we're told, yes, you obey 4 regulated principles, you chant minimum of 16 rounds, Srila Prabhupada says, if you do that, you're guaranteed to go back. To use the word guaranteed, we can guarantee that you go back. If you do that well. But still, it's by invitation. It seems like it's direct. No, it's still by invitation, going back to the spiritual world. Krishna has to say, yes, this person can come before the person comes. Now, the help that is there is help from Guru. That's why the spiritual master is very important. The connection with our spiritual master is just that's the means for us to go back. We may not do everything perfectly. Sometimes we will make mistakes. Sometimes the mistakes are intentional. Sometimes they're not intentional. Hopefully, most of the time they're not intentional, but mistakes do come because we're not perfect. Are we going to get to go back to Godhead? The answer is, if we serve from our hearts and we literally take devotion service as our life and soul, just like Srila Prabhupada did, went through all kinds of difficulties to get to the West, because Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, his spiritual master, says, you preach Krishna consciousness in the Western countries. He didn't know anybody, he still came. He didn't have much money, he still came. He didn't have that many books, he still came. Some of the books he wrote, his wife sold it, and he still came. Now, nothing stopped him. He had difficulty here, and being human, the thought crossed his mind, maybe I should go back to India. Some of the Srila Prabhupada disciples made a point about this. He went to the dock, the place where, and he had a return ticket. How many people with difficulty come to a country and have a return ticket would have stayed? Without much difficulty, they said, it's easy, no, okay, I've tried. Guru Maharaj, you said to come, I've come. I didn't work out, so let me just go back. Here's a return ticket. He could have done that. Yet, because he was so compassionate, and second, he knew that his great faith in Krishna would carry him through. Therefore, he stayed. That is a big lesson for all of us. He stayed and stayed and stayed and went through more difficulty until Krishna finally gave him some devotees who were not ready at all to take sense gratification and put it aside, but he won them over because of the way his heart was. From what was understood, they didn't even, understand what they talked about. Some of the devotees couldn't understand his accent. Still, they could feel his heart. And what little that went through converted them and made them take all of the sense gratification things, put it aside, and really, 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 really make an effort to be devotees. The American government had been spending money before then to try to get most of these young people at that time, to stop taking drugs. Srila Prabhupada came, the words of a pure devotee. Stop doing that, chant Hare Krishna, fix your hair properly, get away from drugs, get away from alcohol, get away from illicit sex, get away from meat eating, and there they were. And they weren't supposed to be the intellectuals, and they still followed wonderfully. So the intellectuals were in the sense gratification, and devotees who were actually basically not being cared for, they just gotten away from the status quo. They were the ones actually listening to Srila Prabhupada. And now we have a wonderful, that is a miracle in itself, a wonderful society that's an international society. So when you work with your spiritual master's instructions, not being attached to results and leaving Krishna to do whatever he wants as far as the results go, that is the best thing to do in Krishna consciousness. Now, what are some of the things that sometimes get in the way? The biggest thing that gets in the way is, well, it's our false ego. And sometimes it makes us forget that Krishna is the controller. He's the controller at every second in our lives. And everything we do is seen by Krishna. And everything that we think of, whether just thinking of it just like part of life or thinking of it in a prayerful way, all of that is heard. So knowing that, we should constantly connect with Guru and Krishna in prayer so that they run our lives. We should not allow Maya to take over our minds and make us like the fake controller. We can never really be the real controller. We think sometimes we have all the solutions. No, it only creates turmoil, especially in different temples relating to different devotees. Exercising false ego is a problem. False ego, my Guru Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, made it into an acronym, EGO, ego, meaning edging God out. In other words, pushing God out of the way and trying to play the role of controller. That's our false ego. We have to look for it. We have to get rid of it, because if we do not, it will bite us. So how do we do that? Well, in everything that we do, we should question our intention. Where is this coming from? Is it from wanting adoration or distinction, or profit for oneself and nothing for Krishna? So we have to question these things as we think about our decision. The mind works very fast, as we well know. So we definitely can question our intentions for everything that we do. Or is it from the spiritual rule of law? Or is it from a fixed up guru or fixed bona fide guru or fixed up sadhu? Those are the important things for everything that we do. Otherwise, the false ego will be attacking us. Sometimes we won't even be aware that it's doing that. The weapons of false ego: lust, anger, greed, pride, illusion, and envy. But those are in themselves lectures, each one of them. So we won't get into it here. But one thing that we want to, at this point, bring up are 4 principles that at the time that we're living in Girinagri, of course, we had to do the 4 regulated principles, but this is 4 principles for community building. They're quite important, and if we incorporate in our lives, we would see that Krishna consciousness will become easier to live as life. 1, we should extend the love that we have for our most beloved, the one that we love most, extend that level of love to everyone. Now, some people say, well, it's going to be very difficult because in real life, there's somebody we love a lot and some people we don't love as much. Well, it is worth it to work on it, to being caring towards everyone. Srila Prabhupada, when he wrote letters to his disciples, he ended it with your ever well wisher. That is love. A person that loves wishes the other person that they love well. So that is love. Extend the love that you have for your most beloved to everyone. Now, also, when there is a problem between us and someone else, we always have to handle it in such a way that at the end of that particular discussion, going back and forth, person expressing, the other person expressing their point, that we are still having a good relationship with them at the end of it. Now, you cannot force somebody else to act in a certain way, but your reaction, that's on you. You can do that, and how you react to them also, your thoughts about things that are happening or what you've heard and your reaction, that's all on you. So that part, you have to make sure that you do it in such a way that you don't come across as offensive to the other person or that person becomes upset with you. Now, what they do, you can't control, but what you do should be always in the mode of goodness. That's what we're talking about. Because actually, as it comes to the third point, the success or failure of your spiritual life depends on how you relate to devotees especially. Because the ones that are turned their faces towards Krishna, those are the ones that Krishna is most concerned about. He's equal to everyone, but basically it's like the sunshine. We were talking about that earlier. If you turn your face towards the sun, then you get it. If you don't turn your face towards the sun, your Papa says, that's your business. And finally, those that we are with now, when we get ready to leave our body and that time will come, we want to go back to Godhead. If you've lived in this material world and gone through suffering, even right now, we are either fully quarantined or partly quarantined, you know how difficult the world can be. It's more obvious now. So why not make our leaving our body a successful process? This is one point that Srila Prabhupada made to Madhu Maharaj when he was a Bhakta. He was named, at that time, his name was John Favorite. So Bhakta John was in the audience. I saw a video of it. And at the end of Srila Prabhupada's lecture, he asked a question. He just wanted to be sure that he had heard what he had heard correctly. So the question was, so Kali Yuga, we are about 5,000 years into it. Yes? Srila Prabhupada said yes. That means there's 427,000 more years to go, and things will get worse far worse. So then Srila Prabhupada advised him, well, 5,000 years is now, and look at the way things are. So why don't you just jump out of the material world by how you act in Bhakti Yoga, so that you don't have to face the rest of a more difficult situation in Kali Yuga. This is good advice for all of us. Srila Prabhupada gave the devotee that became my spiritual master, Bhaktivinoda Swami. At that time, he was a Bhakta. So that's still good today. We should try to get out in this 5,000 years time period. So, there is one devotee we know very well in the Shastra, Narada Muni. He is a great example of not only being a servant of a servant, but working in such a way that devotees could easily think about how he does and also emulate him as best they can. So I'll say a little bit about Narada Muni's life and how some of the things he does may connect to our attitude towards Bhakti Yoga. So Narada Muni, born from Lord Brahma. Narada Muni, anyway, let me just preface it by saying this was a story that this is Narada Muni's life, but it was Krishna, Radha and Krishna were together, and Radha asked a question relating to Narada Muni's life. And towards the end, I'll tell you why she asked the question. But anyway, Krishna went right into it and said, Narada Muni was a devotee of a Lord that loved me right from the beginning. Born from Lord Brahma, would always go around singing songs, praising me, Krishna. And then one day, Lord Brahma, who was in the process of creating other entities and humans and so on, told Narada Muni to beget children, consider Grihastha ashram. Narada Muni responded to his father, remember Lord Brahma's father, that's not something that I'd like to do. And by the way, material life, he says it brings all kinds of complications, for lack of a better word. And so Narada Muni called himself advising Lord Brahma to also stop begetting more and more children. So Lord Brahma asked Narada Muni to beget children. Narada Muni says no, and you, father, my dear father, should also stop doing that. So your life won't be that complicated. Lord Brahma got upset because that was his duty. So he said, yeah, you like to sing. They called him fool. Become a Gandharva for one kalpa. Now, one kalpa is 1,000 yuga cycles, or 4,320,000,000 years. So Narada Muni had to leave his father's abode. He went to Gandharva-loka. His name changed. He became Upabahana. Okay? So he started there, and he had a very nice body. Heavenly bodies are nice. So he got a very nice body, and he was quite attractive. And so a lot of the women there followed him, and he continued to sing. And one day he decided to go back to Brahmaloka. The women followed him to Brahmaloka, and he was singing there, and he was too taken by their beauty and the attention that he was getting, a little bit of false ego here, attention that he was getting, that he sang out of tempo. He wasn't keeping the time properly. Lord Brahma got upset with him again and says, fool, become a Shudra. So now he was born here on this earth in the material world, and here he is, medium planet, but he was born to a mother that was devotional. And so when the 4 seasons, in the Chaturmasya, the 4 months of rainy season came, there were some sadhus, some sages that congregated close to where Narada Muni and his mother lived. And his mother served them nicely, took care of them, gave them prasad. And Narada Muni himself was 5 years old at the time. So you can imagine, 5-year-old boy, nicely behaved. The sages took him in, and he stayed with them during the day, and they were preaching to each other. The sages like to talk about Krishna, and sometimes they have somebody, the one that's preaching, and they're hearing, and this Krishna Katha always enlivens their hearts. So Narada Muni heard so much of Krishna Katha. So he grew in knowledge of bhakti. And so when the sages left and the mother unfortunately got bitten by a snake, died, but Narada Muni had heard so much from the sages that he didn't take it as an unfortunate situation. He took it as Krishna's mercy. He traveled, he went to different places, of course, in a devotional mood, left the body, merged, came back again as Lord Brahma's son. But this time, very much devotional, all of the things that he had done that were mistakes were behind him. Again, took to singing. But he went to a place called Ilavrita, Basha, and in that place, he met some, this is a heavenly planet area, he met some very nice looking faces of people, but they had deformed bodies. And so he asked them, why are your bodies deformed like that? And then they said, well, Lord Brahma's son called Narada, this is from Garga Samhita, by the way, Canto 5, chapter 20. Garga Samhita is also in cantos like Srimad Bhagavatam. So they told him that Lord Brahma's son called Narada sings the wrong songs at the wrong times, and sometimes he sings out of a tempo, and we are the personification of music, ragas and raginis. Men are ragas, women are raginis. And so the way he's singing metaphysically has affected us. And so our bodies are deformed. Now, it doesn't say in the Gaga Samhita whether the ragas and raginis knew that the person that we're talking to was in fact Narada Muni. Narada Muni did not say, that's me. He just said, all right, how does, what should be done to rectify this situation? And then they told Narada Muni that he should perform austerities and get the audience of Saraswati Mataji, which he did for 100 celestial years, which is 18,000 if you go by the regular times for heavenly planet. Regular is obviously debatable because in Brahmaloka is different, but it was about 18,000 years of austerity. And Mother Saraswati showed herself to him, taught him so many, first of all, the right songs to sing at the right times, because that was one thing that was doing that was wrong. So many other types of modulations, and we won't get into the musical jargon, but he learned a lot. Now, he had become an expert musician. In fact, that's what he was praying for Mother Saraswati to do, make him one of the best musicians, even not the best. So he got that. He even learned how to dance, even that. So he returned to the heavenly planet where he was, Gandharvaloka, and he taught one person called Tumburu. So Tumburu followed Narada Muni. What did he want to do? Narada Muni wanted to use that service, that ability that he acquired to do service for Krishna's devotees. He went to the sun planet, Surya. Surya was busy taking care, making sure the sun was working properly. He bypassed Indra because there's just too much things in the mode of passion, so he didn't want to deal with that. Actually, the two of them were together, Narada Muni and Tumburu. Now, he went to Vishnuloka, but the Lord had gone to deal with a situation for his devotees, so he wasn't there. Then he went to Golok Vrindavan. He went to Narayan, which is heavenly planet, so the Lord wasn't there. Then he went to Golok Vrindavan. He was allowed to Golok Vrindavan, but he wanted to see Krishna and Radha and perform for them. So the gopis asked him, they didn't let him go right away. Radha and Krishna were in a special grove, and the gopis were around. A lot of gopis were around him, but there were some at the entrance too. And so Narada Muni had to state his case why him and Tumburu were there. They took the message to Krishna. Krishna says, sure, let them in. So what Narada Muni learned, the point is, from Saraswati Mata, he decided to use it to serve whoever that he could serve, Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Anyway, he got an opportunity to perform to Lord Krishna and Radha, and Krishna was so taken by the performance, so much emotions were from Krishna that Krishna, according to Gaga Samhita, melted. and Krishna body partly became a river. Now we can go into more details about it, but the point is Narada Muni got the ability to fix up his music and become a great musician. And the first thing he thought of was how to serve devotees of the Lord with it. First to the devotees, and when even the devotees were not ready, he went to see the Lord himself and perform for him. So the whole point about his service is he's thinking of helping devotional service. Everything that he's acquired, the music he's acquired, he was using it in devotional service. So we also, the whole point here is to use what we have directly or indirectly in devotional service. Whatever profession that we have, you should use it directly or indirectly in devotional service. So there's more, but we will stop here. And if there are questions, you can ask those questions now. If not, then there's a little bit, so we can go up to 5:30. There's a little bit more that I want to add. So
if anyone would like to ask questions, you can click on your raise hand button, or you can put a note in the chat window. And Prabhu, if no one has a question, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll break the ice. So I've been thinking a lot about, what you're saying about serving from the heart and the idea of devotional service. And then we have our sadhana, which is also part of devotional service. And then we kind of have the service that we do at the temple and serving devotees and all of that. And I have two kind of similar questions, but one is, how do we balance our sadhana? How do we know the right formula for focusing on sadhana aspect of our devotional service versus the service in the temple and to the devotees part of devotional service? And how do we balance when sometimes our heart's just tired, we're not completely in it? Does Krishna accept that? If maybe should we focus more on our sadhana at that point? So it's kind of a lumped question. So
okay, first, the order in which a devotee is supposed to live their lives, material and spiritual, is first, we have to take care of our health. I know we didn't ask that question, but I have to bring it in. Take care of, like Taco says, we have to take care of our health. Without this physical body, we can't do any service anyway. So that's the first thing. Then second, our sadhana. The chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is a yuga dharma. That has to be done. So that cannot be postponed from day to day. That definitely has to be put in. We'll talk about organizing our time also after this. So health, sadhana, then what our spiritual master wants us to do, and sometimes that's, it's part of temple duties too, because that's, if you're connected to the temple, then you have some service there. And then fourth, what you yourself are planning to do to help ISKCON. So health, sadhana, instruction from the spiritual master, that includes Srila Prabhupada, what he tells us to do, even if you're not a Prabhupada disciple, it's all written out. And then what we ourselves want to do to serve. Now, many of the pure devotees, among some of them we know, some of them we not know, but we know Srila Prabhupada is a pure devotee. We can look at his time, the way he managed his time. Now, he was traveling all around the world. We don't even do that. Some of our sannyasis do that. Many of them do that. But many of us who aren't sannyasis don't even travel around. But one thing Srila Prabhupada did, and Harisari Prabhu was the one that, and Sridhar Prabhu also confirmed this. They were both secretaries for Srila Prabhupada. When Srila Prabhupada arrived in any country, we know there were different time zones. He would always go along with the program that's set up, or programs that's set up for him. He would satisfy all of that at the time. And then he would retire to the room that's been reserved for him, along with the secretary, and Prabhupada disciple. He would look at the time in that country. If it's 3 o'clock, he would ask himself, what do I do at 3 o'clock? And he would do exactly that, which means he had his time set up in such a way that he does the same thing at a particular time of the day, no matter what part of the world that he was at. So he was that regimented. I lived with my Guru Maharaj for about from 1995 to early 1998 in Girinagri. This is Pariksit that I lived with Bhagavad-gita Swami. I saw a little bit of that too. I wasn't in his room much, but he also had certain things at certain times. I knew he had his prashadam at 2 o'clock, you know, by clockwork. We had to make sure it was in. And a certain time, I had His Holiness Danivir Goswami came to Girinagri. My wife and I had the opportunity to host him. He was in our house. He was also very regimented. There was a certain time, 1 o'clock in the morning, he was listening to Srila Prabhupada's lecture, beloved, and that's at 1 a.m. in the morning. Tuned it down, the volume, but he would listen and he would be awake until Mangalati time. He would go to Mangalati, come back, and by 9 something, he gets back and he has his main meal of the day because remember, he's up, before 1 o'clock. So for him, 8 hours are already gone by that time. So then he has his brunch we serve him, and then he'll take rest. And 1 in the afternoon, he's behind his desk, he's writing. He wrote a lot of books. A lot of Gaga Samhita was in fact translated. He gave the purpose to Gaga Samhita and gave me a set of it. That's how I know about it. So most of our sannyasis had regimented times. So if we plan by setting up, okay, this in the morning I do this and this, put work in it, work time, and work our sadhana into it, then we'll get it done. Because once you have that set up in a logical order, then if Maya suggests do something else, then you have an excuse, a good excuse too. This time I do this, right? So you can fight the mind like that if the mind is getting to Maya. Certainly you won't program any Maya into it, and that goes without saying. So that way you can stay out of Maya, and then you can balance what you have to do, the temple and the times that you do the temple work, you put that in there, whatever the day is. Sometimes it's the same for each day, but if it's not, then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, have all of that down from when you get up until when you go to bed, and have that set, and stick to it as best as you can. And you can, in fact, balance your life that way. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Drona Prabhu, you had a question?
I think there's a couple of chat questions here too, I see.
Thank you, Pariksit Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
I enjoyed listening to you very much.
Krishna's mercy, Guru's mercy, yeah.
So this is a very practical verse. This is something I think that a lot of people, including myself, they may struggle with, this idea of equanimity. And you define that being kind of like a mental state of equilibrium. So practical advice that when we hit that place where we don't feel like we're in equilibrium, it may be a disturbing situation. We may not get our way. And we're about to snap. Sometimes people can hold it in. Sometimes people have to let it out. But when we find that place where, we're at our tipping point and we just have to kind of like, maybe our lower nature kind of gets the best of us and we're about to go into that place.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
What can we do to catch ourselves?
It's interesting that you ask a question like that. I know a lot of people sometimes get, that situation hits them. We have a solution that we'll take it in 2 ways, okay? Raghunath Das Goswami has talked about Manasiksha, speaking to the mind. Sometimes our emotions may overtake us so much that even speaking to the mind, especially when we get angry, it's very difficult to speak to the mind then, because temporarily for that period of time, we can't control our minds well. That's true. Now, one thing though that's always there, and remember Lord Chaitanya has said, Krishna has invested all his energies in the holy name. So it's as difficult as sometimes it can be, if we have that mantra running through our minds, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We can even have mental instability for just a short period of time, or let's just say it started, and we're about, as you said, we're about to snap. But when we chant, it's amazing how Krishna's power can change our attitude. I'll just give one example. It wasn't exactly like this, but at the time my wife and I got married, she was very much, she was a Christian, Seventh-day Adventist. So she had already planned what she wanted to do. We had the, some people laugh at us when they know exactly what happened. But in 1993, we had a court marriage, court one. And I won't get into the details of it, but there were only three of us, myself, my wife, and the clerk of the court. So we married us. And then she wanted a wedding because the family, my family they wanted a wedding. They were Christians. So on the day of the wedding, I'm in the back, on the altar, and she's going to be brought in from the door and then all the way up to the altar. But I'm in the back waiting, tux and everything, we were sitting. Now, by the way, we were new. We hadn't been initiated yet. Okay, so we were still back there in Bhakti. So this wedding was planned. Now I'm sitting in the back room, and I don't know what's been done in the back room, but there was so much negative energy in there. And here I am, the groom, and I'm being drained like anything. Drained big time, getting tired and tired and tired. And I didn't know what to do. I'm by myself. And all of a sudden it hit me. You got only one thing to do, chant. I didn't have a beat bag or anything. At the Christian church, we didn't have a beat bag with us. So I just started, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Ram. For about 15 minutes, I was there doing it. And somehow that energy went away and I was fine. So it's just amazing how the holy name can change so many things, so many situations. We just try it. It's easy. It's easy to chant, but it's more important to remember to have that going in the mind the whole time. The whole time. Sometimes you may even hear calming music, and I know I'm going off on a tangent. Hear calming music and the tune that we like, and we still can't get it. No matter what we do, we can't get it out of our minds. The Hare Krishna mantra is metered so easily, 4, 8, 12, and 16, that you really can change the tune and the words of that tune and put a mantra there just so you can keep saying the mantra. If you're musically inclined, that is. If you're not, maybe you can try something. But the point we're making is, in all kinds of situations, the Hare Krishna mantra puts us back into a mental state of balance. It can do that because Krishna's energy is there, and that's what helps us. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So, okay. I don't know.
Any other questions?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, that's weird. All right. Hey.
I wanted to just point out something that that you said in your lecture.
Yeah.
Appreciation and point of emphasis. Maybe you can speak in a few more words on it. So abandoning the success or attachment to success and failure. And you gave the example of Srila Prabhupada, how he, went through so many situations where you could say, like, we wouldn't have blamed you if you gave up.
Yeah.
We and he stuck through it.
Yeah.
And before you got to that point, I was going to ask you that question. How do we get to the, how do we inspire ourselves to remain motivated, even in the midst of so many deterrents? We may want to give up. It may be people trying to put us down. It may be life situations putting us down. It could be money situations, that we're up against. It could be, now Corona, the virus that, just bewilders us and puts us down, to keep us from not giving up in situations that we would typically want to give up in.
So very good question. We are a society now. We still can connect with people electronically, even though we can't see too many people now. So the nectar of instruction has already said, as part of the exchanges of love, there's 6 exchanges of love, to give gifts, to receive gifts, to give prasadam, to receive prasadam, and then the last 2 is to reveal our minds in confidence, and also hear confidentially. Revealing our minds in confidence is a very, very important thing that we have to do. we have to, first of all, make sure that the person we're talking about is trustworthy. And there are ways to do that. That would be another lecture in itself. But there should be somebody we can open up when we're having difficulty. The person that's fixed up and balanced mentally, that can help us out of that situation. That every devotee should have someone that they can go to for that. Sometimes it's another guru, a Shiksha guru, or your own Diksha guru, if he's around, can help. And if he's not that busy, or maybe you yourself serve him, so you're close to him, and that's very few people that can be like that. But there are always devotees, and if you hear their lectures, and if they give lectures, or how their attitude is towards service, you can see an attitude is towards chanting, especially. You can see the extent to which they're fixed up, and you can, in fact, get help from them. Also, if your spiritual master is not near you, the spiritual master's picture, devotees may not know this, is just as potent as the spiritual master himself. Just like the deity of Krishna is Krishna, the spiritual master's picture is as potent as the spiritual master. The point we're making is you can offer your obeisances to the picture of your guru if you're initiated, or Srila Prabhupada if you're not initiated, and express what bothers you to Maharaj in the picture. It is amazing how much help you can get. I'll just say one thing. It even happened this morning, and we take turns here in this house in serving the deities, morning, waking them up and putting them to rest. And on Sundays, it's definitely me, and I do a full hour in the morning. So there were some things that I won't get into detail of it, but there were some things disturbing me yesterday. I was actually looking closely at my own sadhana and criticizing myself heavily little scenes that I went, wrong doing it now. Because I'm very concerned, about this lifetime and having to be a perfectionist. I can't be a perfectionist, but still, I try to be, doing everything in as perfect a condition as I'm making. So then I was taking inventory, and I wasn't happy with myself. And so this morning when I went to the Gonitai was there, and we have Sri Radha Damodar picture, the Damodar in Gitanagri. And then Shingadev on the altar, Gonitai, and talking about this Subhadra next level, Gonitai next level. And Lord Gauranga was smiling very broadly at me. And I was shocked. I said, I'm criticizing myself, but basically he was saying in so many words, what I was reading from that, and the deities do give moods. If you don't know, actually they do that, and I've known that for a long time. It was like to reassure me, okay, so you make mistakes, but it's not the end of the world. Keep plugging away at it. So sometimes these things may come to get to your question that you may find it very difficult, but you always have to remember Krishna is in control and he always knows what's going on. The Lord is actually with us, literally, in the heart. Paramatma is in the heart. Therefore, devotees are cared for at all times. We just need to remember that that alone is reassuring. That alone is reassuring. The challenges would come. Krishna doesn't give us more than we can handle. Well, that opens up another story. I'll say that short. 31st of December. I forget the year. Bhakti Maharaj was still in the physical body here. Chandamali Swami was with them. So two sannyasis had a night program welcoming the new year. I don't know what the reason was, but Bhakti Swami asked, a lot of devotees have come from different parts of the country, Maryland and so on, come to Gitanagri. He asked this question, do some of you think that Krishna has given you more than you can handle? Be honest. And people raise their hands, and I raised my hand too, because we were going through difficulty at the time. And so he looked at us, then he turned to Chandamali Swami and said, Maharaj, we got a lot of work to do on these people. So he was making a point already before he started talking is that Krishna, it may seem like he's giving you more than you can handle, but he always is there to actually help you through it anyway. Even if your mind tells us there's more, it helps you through it. You gotta submit yourself. Fall down at the lotus feet of your guru, or the picture of your guru, or Srila Prabhupada, picture, if you don't have the Murti near you that you can go to and pour your heart out. Hmm? The Shastra says, Tadvidi Panipatena Paripashnena Seva. He says we have to approach Guru and inquire. Put all your problems, to bring it out. You want to be a devotee anyway. You want to serve Krishna. You want to serve the devotees. You want to serve Guru. There are impediments. So you need help to get out of the impediments. But Krishna says, approach Guru though. So we go to Guru. We go to Guru. That's why I don't say you go to the deity. We go to Guru. Sometimes people want to go to God himself and Krishna himself and ask that. Well, if that is so, especially if your upbringing is Hindu and you're used to asking everything of the deity, well, there is a form of Krishna that's a devotee. That's Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. Your own Guru, you can ask Srila Prabhupada, you can also ask for the mercy of Guru and Gauranga. So you can ask those. And they will help you out. They definitely will help. They always do. We should remember that we're connected. Hare Krishna. Okay, Hare Krishna. So any other questions? I'm looking at the time also, so I'm at your service, whatever you want. If not, we can end also.
Last chance. Anybody else? Hey, Pariksit, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Very, very enlivening. It's always great to see you.
You too.
You know, I'm enthusiastic. I heard you're going to be joining us in the mornings, on a regular basis for our Srimad Bhagavatam Sangha.
So, yeah, I'm excited about that. Anywhere that we can serve, I love it.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, and that's just also a quick commercial for everybody that don't know about our Srimad Bhagavatam classes. We're doing Srimad Bhagavatam every morning at 7:50. Goes to 8:30. So please tune in to get your day started off in the right way, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. And again, Pariksit Prabhu, thank you for taking your time to spend with us. And we look forward to hearing from you. We pray that you and your family stay well, and that the Harrisburg community, stays healthy and enthusiastic.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. And same to you and all the devotees in Philadelphia. Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai. Gaura Pramanandi.
Hare Hare.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. So for the devotees that are on, I wanted to make a couple quick announcements. One is we have baby news in our community. Mukta Datri and Brajesh Govinda Prabhu, they gave birth to a baby boy last Thursday, the 21st. He was given the name Lakshmi Pati by His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj. So please offer them your prayers and blessings. And we do this when we're in the temple room. So we're in the virtual temple space right now. So let's all for the blessings of the family and the baby Lakshmi Pati. Let's all chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra for them. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare Rama,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai.
Jai. And the other thing is, we're going to set up a lot of people have been asking what's going to happen when the temple eventually, when the governor lifts the stay-at-home order, and will the temple reopen? How will it reopen? What are the precautions we'll be taking? And there is a light plan in place right now, and it's going to be developed as we get closer to that point. It looks like the governor's stay-at-home order is going to be in effect till at least June 5th. We will be abiding by the local governing protocols up until that time, and then going forward. we're going to hold a online Istagosti coming up. We'll put it out in the newsletter to kind of discuss the steps we're putting forward. Going forward, we'll also put something in writing in the newsletter. But it seems like we are approaching that time within the next 3 weeks, where there'll be a little bit more activity going to be taking place in the temple. We are, like I said, we are going to be taking our precautions, but we can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel at this point. Please hang in there. I know you've all been very patient. A lot of people want to come back and take darshan and see the devotees. We just have a little bit longer. And in the meantime, we should really take shelter and be appreciative and grateful that we do have this online community where we can, interact with each other. 30 years ago, we would have nothing. We'd be, writing letters to people and putting them in the mail, talking to people over the phone. No conference calls, no Zoom. So we have this opportunity now. So just a little bit longer, until I think we'll be able to, open up for darshan, and more information will come in the next week or so about that. Okay. Any questions about that? Anything anybody wants to say? Okay, and I think we can end here. Everybody have a wonderful evening, and please join us tomorrow morning and every morning for Srimad Bhagavatam at 7:50. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Krishna.